and welcome to Supernatural Iceland. My name is Valur Grettisson. I'm an editor-in-chief at Reykjavík Grapevine, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about trolls in Iceland. These folklores are a little bit odd, to be honest. Troll in the folklores are described as like a humanoid, a human-like creatures that are much bigger and much stronger than man. It doesn't have any other characteristics when it comes to anything. They are not like from stone or anything. They can turn into stone, but not all, like, not entire, like, not that many actually stories end with that. That's not the point of these stories. The point often is that they are, of course, they are most often evil. And they can be everything from a ghost to a warlock. So they can bewitch you and so on, and they are like very smart often, but they can also be absolute idiots. There are a few versions about that. In general, they are described as dumb, unruly, wild, greedy, and cruel. But once in a while, there are actually good trolls around there, which are both wise and loyal to ones that treat them with respect. And that's like a key word. If you actually like treat them with respect, it can be very rewarding. It's the same with elves actually. But on the other hand, and this is definitely a downfall, they are cannibals. They really like meat, and human meat, that is. These creatures are said to be very disformed, but still very much like us, of course. And the trolls also have in common to hate Christianity. The reason actually is not that complicated. They hate the bells. So if you ring a bell, they actually they will flee in panic. So therefore, like after 1000, when the parliament in Iceland decided to become Christian, this was said to be very heavy for the trolls. They were very sad about this. And this is also, many of these stories are actually about how trolls are, for example, pestering Christian people and even like obsessed with priests and such, and often try to hunt them. So one of these stories is very telling when it comes to this odd obsession with Christianity. I'm going to tell you right now. One of these stories is about Mjóafjarðarskessa. Mjóifjörður is the place, and Skessa is a female troll. We genderize everything. We have Skessa and Tröllkarl, which is like the troll man, basically, is the direct translation. Now, Mjóafjarðarskessan, she lived in the east of Iceland, and she is said to have actually bewitched many priests, forcing them to commit suicide. She did this with visiting the church close to the canyon in Mjóifjörður while the priest was preaching. She then laid her hand over the window of the church, like laid it on the window, so however that would be, and where the priest stood. And basically, when she did this, they went absolutely mad. They always recited the same poet from the pulpit, which sounded like this in Icelandic. Takið úr mér svangan og langan, nú vil ég að gilinu ganga, takið úr mér svilin og vilin, fram ætla ég í Mjóafjarðargilið. Now, in a very simple translation, this means, take away from me my hunger and desire, I'm going to walk to the canyon and throw myself down. So, you can imagine, when people watching this in the churches, they saw the priests recite this poem, and then they literally ran out and they jumped from this canyon. But people didn't really understand why was this happening. They saw this, they didn't even see this hand, although a troll hand definitely, and they didn't understand what was exactly happening. But the priest always ran out and threw himself down the canyon, and that was the end of them, of course. And it's said that there was a traveler that once saw a troll and asked her, "What do you have there?" As he sat there in the canyon, and she answered, "I'm packing into the skull of my dear priest Snjóki," which was the name of the priest. Now, this was obviously bad news. They have a cruel, work like be with like witch troll, whatever that would be. And they knew that Mjóafjarðarskessa was now enchanting their priests, taking them, forcing them to throw themselves down to commit suicide, and then she ate them. It's understandable that not many priests were that keen to go to Mjóafjörður and to talk about God in this church. They knew there was a crazy troll looming around, bewitching them. But finally, a brave priest decided to come to the church and have a mass for the people, knowing what could happen. He told the parish, the people in the church, that if he started to behave odd in the pulpit, they should go and hold him down, and 6 other people needed to go to the church bells and ring them. But 10 men needed to run to the door and hold it. So, when the priest got to the pulpit, he started the mass, and suddenly the troll's hand appeared, like this. He was perhaps talking inside here, and then she would do like this, bewitching him, of course, with a much, much bigger hand than I would ever have. The priest, of course, went mad and repeated the poem, Taki úr mér svangan og langan, and so on. The man jumped on the priest, and the man ran to the door, and the rest of the men, they ran straight to the bells, and they rang the bells like madmen. The troll got so started from the bells that she took off, but when she stepped into the graveyard next to the church, a huge hole exploded from down under and made her, and there was a pass that came out of it. She was so heavy and much. She then screamed out with a trollish voice, and this is an odd one actually. I don't completely understand what this means, but in Icelandic this is stattu aldrei, or in English, never stand. That's the words. She then disappeared down into the canyon, never to be seen again. It is said then that the graveyard, like where she stepped on and made this pass, the walls around it would always crumble. There was no way to pile the rocks, so it could actually keep it steady enough. One of the most infamous trolls that have ever lived in Iceland is definitely Gillytruth. This is the troll that my mother told me about, my grandmother, and everybody knows the poems around this and so on. This is actually an interesting story because Gillytruth is a cunning kind of a troll. Very smart, very brutal. She actually she visited this farm down in like under the mountains of Eyjafjall. It's very close to where the eruption happened in Eyjafjallajökull. So what happened here is that one day this very old and like ugly woman comes to a farm where a young couple lives. She goes to the woman, the lady farmer, and she asked her, "Do you have some of value for me?" This woman says, "Well, yes, I might, but what will you do for me instead?" The troll says, "Well, I can take this wool off your hand, and I can make it better for you, and so you can be warm." The thing is also that making this wool could be a tedious kind of a job, and the woman, lady farmer, she like wasn't having it. Like she didn't like to do this, so she was very happy that this woman would take it off her hand. But the woman tells her, and this is a very ominous thing. She tells her when the lady farmer asked her, "What do you want in payment?" She says, "Well, not much actually." She answered. She says, "The only thing I want you to do is to guess my names in 3 tries." Of course, the lady farmer, she says, "That's a bargain, right?" But little did she know, she was of course not talking to a human. So this woman, she takes the wool away, and she says that she will be back, and she will with the wool on the first day of summer. When the weeks and months pass, the woman, she realized that she just might have made a serious and grave mistake. So she tells her husband about this when she is feeling very bad about this, and she is becoming almost like, I wouldn't say insane, but pretty close to it. She's very anxious about the situation. So her husband says, "Are you mad, woman? This is obviously a troll woman that have been like a skessa that has tricked you." And she says, "Okay, but what will we do?" And he says, I don't know, let's think about it. But later that winter, he actually climbs into the mountains where he hears this very dark voice rumbling in the wilderness. And he actually followed this voice. And he goes closer and closer and closer until he finds the voice and he sees this huge troll woman. And this woman sits there and she is spinning the wool and doing this in a very like a harsh kind of a way. And she is talking to herself and she says, "Hi, hi, ho, ho, nafn mitt Gillytruth," or "Hi, hi, ho, ho, my name is Gillytruth." And she says this again and again and again. And the farmer says, this must be the terrible troll that my wife is so afraid of. So he decided to go back. He writes the name on a paper and keeps it safe, but he doesn't tell his wife just yet. And this is a nasty one. I don't know why he doesn't tell his wife, because she suffers throughout the whole winter, and it's not a good. It's not a good winter for this woman, which is very anxious, and she knows that there is something very cruel and very nasty coming for her. On the last day of winter, this woman, this lady farmer, she was very, very anxious about her situation. She thought that she was definitely gonna die, but she had been thinking this the whole winter. Who is this woman? What's her name? So on the last day of winter, she didn't want to go on her feet, and she was paralyzed from fear and anxiety. Her husband comes to her, he gives her the note and says, "I think I know the name of this troll. It's Gillytruth." So this woman, she says, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yes, I think I'm sure." So she takes the note and she waits until like the day after. But her husband, he says, "I can't be with you when you meet her because it could be dangerous and it could be something horrible that would come out of it." So she waits for this troll lady, Gillytruth, and on the first day of summer, she can hear the earth actually crumbling, and she looks out and she sees this huge troll coming to her. And this huge troll comes to her house, and she stands there, and she says, "What is my name? What is my name? Guess again." And of course, the farm lady, paralyzed from her, she's so scared of this woman that she's literally paralyzed. She mutters out, "Could it be Signy?" she asked. But the troll lady replied, "This is my name, this is my name, guess again." She does this, of course, because she wants her to guess wrong 3 times. But she always says, like, "This is my name." Odd thing, don't understand it, but trolls are odd creatures. The farm lady, still in shock, asks, "Is your name Ása?" A slight smile appears on the troll and she answers, "This is my name, this is my name. Ask again, housewife." So finally, the farm lady trusts her husband and asks, "It wouldn't be Gillytruth, could it be?" The moment she says the name, Gillytruth, she falls down on her ass, and the earth, of course, rumbles and crumbles, and then she goes away. And the lady farmer was very, very relieved and was never scared again, by the way, and also always took care of her own wool after this, which is, I guess, part of the moral of the story. Like, do your goddamn wool, I guess. Not all trolls are bad. They are not all evil. This story is about Ketill from Silfurtúni, or the Silver Field. It's just the town that he lived at. But Ketill was, he comes later into the story. Let's start with the farmer. There was a farmer once that he had a lot of sheep, and of course there were shepherds that were, and they were protecting the sheep. And it came to the day that on the Christmas Eve, it was very specific in the story, the Christmas Eve, one of the first shepherds just disappeared. They didn't know what happened, but didn't really think much about it. Many things can go wrong, of course, in the nature, but a year from there, on the Christmas Eve after that, another shepherd went missing. They didn't really know why. When the third shepherd went missing, the farmer was obviously in trouble. He didn't know what to do, and he had no shepherd's courage enough to go and be with the sheep on Christmas Eve. But then enters Ketill, and Ketill was 18 years old. He was a young and very smart young man, and he is said to have started working for the farm, happy for the opportunity. He was not from good family or anything like that. It was a little bit tougher, of course, at this time to not have a name for yourself, especially when you were young and didn't have any money. So he started to work for the farmers, and he did well over the summers. But then, of course, the winter came, and the farmer was very, very stressed that something bad would happen again at Christmas Eve. He told, of course, the Ketill about his trouble, but Ketill said not to worry, it's gonna be fine. So on Christmas Eve, he went with the sheep to this hill of a huge mountain, and he sat with them. But in the night, a huge troll woman, a skessa, come climbing down a mountain, not that unsimilar like this. This woman, she comes down, this skessa, and she sees the poor Ketill, the shepherd, and she asks with a trollish voice, give me your sheep, or what sheep can I take? Ketill then, he answers, well, it's hard to say because they are not mine, of course. It's not mine to give at least. So he said, but we can perhaps solve that. Take the old ones, which are over there, and he pointed out to some old sheep there, said, take them and we'll be fine. So what she does is that in one swoop she takes the sheep, she ties them together and put her on her back, and then she actually takes Ketill and kidnaps him basically. And she then goes up to the mountain to a very, very harsh terrain in the wilderness. Like she literally just climbed back up some cliffs like this. And she was, like I said, huge, of course, and incredibly strong. So she takes him all the way to her cave, huge cave, by the way. She had to go through this waterfall. But when she entered the cave, she put the sheep down as well as Ketill, and then she said, could you slaughter the animals for me? And we are going to feast this tonight. Ketill said, okay, let's do this. So he slaughters the animals, he makes the meat, and he cooks it for the troll, and they sit down and they eat together. The troll then confesses kind of to him. She says, well, I have actually killed all of these poor shepherds, but the only reason I did so was because they were rude and they were crude, and they were evil when they answered me. Of course, they were afraid, so it's understandable kind of a response from scared little boys, I guess, young man. So she says, but you were the only one and the first one that was kind to me, and this should be rewarded. So she says to him, a month from now, the farmer that you're working for, he will die. He will die from his sickness, and when he does, you need to buy his farm. Of course, Ketill, he didn't have any money, didn't have any family or anything. He says, I'm broke, what to do? And she says, not to worry about that. Everything you find of value in my cave, you can take. When the time comes, of course. And then she adds, when you have bought the farm, you need to go to the priest and ask his daughter for her hand and marry her. And he said, well, I'm obviously not a man of prestige, and therefore it's very unlikely that the father will approve. And of course, the girl is very beautiful, and she will never fall in love with a man like me. Then she said, well, I have a solution for that. And she shows him this belt, and she calls it nature. And she says, if you put this belt on someone, he will be affectionate towards you or love you. And she gives him the belt. So she takes one promise from him. Come to me 1 month from now and visit me when the farmer basically is dead. So this is how it goes. He's safe. He returns to the farmer, and the farmer is incredibly glad that he survived, but he was very afraid that he had died because he couldn't find him for a day or two. So the Ketill, the shepherd, comes back, and when he comes back, he doesn't tell the farmer about this imminent destiny that he will die within a month, nor that he met a troll woman, a skessa. So what happens, of course, is that the troll woman was completely right. The farmer, he dies from his sickness, and when he does, Ketill decided to go back to the cave. And he does visit the cave again, only to find that the troll is dead. It is not explained in the story how she died, but there are it could be that she gave her life to kill the farmer somehow, bewitched him or something like that. But there is nothing concrete in the story, of course, about this. So what happens now is that he actually finds a lot of very valuable things in this cave. So much actually, it's almost mountains of gold and things that he can sell. He takes the gold and he buys the farm, and he takes even more and he hires people to work on the farm, and then he decided to go and meet the priest's daughter. And when he comes there, he actually gives her the belt. She puts it on, she's thankful for the gift, and she falls in love with him. Also, it's stated in the story that the belt actually helped, but was not the reason that she fell in love with him. He was a very charming young man, and she truly fell in love with this man. But the belt obviously helped. So he met with the priest, and the priest was not very happy. There was some poor bastard that he had never seen before, and he said, who are you and what do you want? But when he realized that this young man is incredibly rich, has this very nice farm, a lot of people working for him, he begrudgingly in the end says yes to this marriage. So in the end, it is sad that Ketill became an old man, and he and his wife was very much in love all their life, and they had a very good life together, and that Ketill in the end actually told this story on his sickbed just before he died, that this is how he got rich, and this story has been retold many times in Icelandic folklores. So it kind of shows also that trolls, they are complicated creatures. They are not only this mindless, dumb stone figures running around. They are very much of like us with skin and everything, but they are huge, of course, and they are very tricky, and they are very dangerous, of course. But if treated with some respect, they will reward you very handsomely. So this is it for the Icelandic Supernatural Iceland. This was about the trolls, and I hope that you learn a little bit about these stories. They are very interesting in some ways. They also teach us not to perhaps judge from the appearance, and to be and be respectful, although you are talking to someone that perhaps does not look like that deserve your respect, or however that would work today, of course. But these stories, of course, can all be found in this Icelandic book about folklores, that is just called Icelandic Folklores and Adventures. These are very old stories, but we have other books, of course, in our shop. Just go through it, you will find all kind of stuff. And of course, the most beautiful books about trolls that have been written are the one that Brian Pilkington have written, and draw also. He's a fantastic drawer, and he gets this complexity of these trolls very well. So this is it for us. I guess I have to throw for Polly now. Until next time, and yeah, be careful, of course. Hi.